When I first got involved in Sasquatch as a young kid, I was reading the books, watching In Search Of, you know, the John Green and Renee DeHinden books. Kept me going as a young teenager. Whenever I would travel up to Mount St. Helens, I was looking for Bigfoot through that thick brush. Granted, I wasn't like really researching, but you know, I had such an interest in it, and it kept me going all the way up to my adult years. Bigfoot is Bad Juju, according to the Salish Indians in British Columbia. The Sasquatch, which is now Sasquatch, the Anglicanized version of Sasquatch, was a frightening, hairy, large, black-haired woman, the Bukwas, that the totem pole is made after, that would steal and take your children and eat them. Okay, that's not your forest friend. That's not your Bigfoot buddy. That's pretty much a frightening monster. A fairy tale that was told. Perhaps it was real. Nonetheless, you have that story, and yet people are still fascinated with Sasquatch. The culture of the mystery, the surrounding myths, they're all involved with Bigfoot. Now granted, some Native Americans said they traded with the Sasquatch, that they were another tribe, another human tribe. You know, so not every Native American story about Bigfoot is scary. Nonetheless, you know, what is the predominant vibe of Sasquatch? It's frightening. It's a monster. So when I was cast on that reality show, Bigfoot Bounty by Spike TV, I had saved my Bigfoot camping experience for the show. So as I was on the show, I was actually Bigfooting for the first time on national television. Kind of weird. Don't mess up. You know, what's poison ivy? What's, you know, poison oak? I don't want to find out the hard way with the camera on me. So I had to like seriously look into it. And then after the show was over, I was actually able to go out in the field, do research with other researchers, and focus on the subject of Sasquatch. Is that a bear print? Is that a human footprint? What kind of a footprint is that? Without worrying about the camera crew and the producer saying, okay, we got to go in now. You know, you could be out all night long looking for Bigfoot and researching. When you're on a TV show, you can't do that. You're only given a certain like 3 or 4 hours, and that's it. So my Bigfooting camping research experience exploded after the show. So that was a wonderful stepping stone, and at least that pointed me in the right direction. Let's be honest, Bigfoot is entertainment, regardless. YouTube, movies, Harry and the Hendersons, for example, TV shows, Finding Bigfoot, it's entertainment. The general audience, the bigger picture of people, I think would like to think it's real because humans, we are naturally romantic. Dr. Jane Goodall is extremely hopeful that Bigfoot's real. There's no proof. She thinks it could be, but we still don't have any evidence. I think the general population sides with Dr. Goodall, and that it'd be great if it was real. But it's probably not real because people always today say, well, we have all this technology. How come we haven't found a body? That's like the #1 thing that's thrown at us Bigfooters. Where's the body? Where are the bones? Now, granted, we keep saying, oh, the forest dissolves the bones and porcupines eat the bones. And yes, there is some truth to that. However, as many times I've been in the woods, I've never found a bear carcass. I know there's bears out there. I've seen them. I've heard them. I've found their footprints. Yet, I have never found bear bones. You know, the bones I've found were either deer or elk. Well, let's look at the population of deer and elk. There's thousands of them in a certain amount of area. Bigfoot, if it's real, the population has to be like this big. It has to be. Now, according to all these people at the conference, I've seen Bigfoot in my backyard. Well, I just heard there was a Bigfoot down the street here at Salt Fork around the tent to the left. Really? 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 Bigfoot is as common as a squirrel in a state park? I don't think so. Okay, because that would be on the news. You know, I hate to stereotype Bigfooters, but for the longest time, I thought Bigfooters were uneducated. They had a 6th grade education. They're homophobic, racist, ignorant, sexist, backwoods hillbillies. Now, granted, there is that stereotype. Of course, there are some stereotypes that are true. However, what has surprised me with Bigfoot culture, as you're having people with different income and different degrees and ways in life that come to these conferences. It's very surprising for me. For example, Sasquatch Chronicles, Wes Germer puts on that iTunes podcast. His demographic aren't Bigfooters. They're upper middle class people with incomes up to $100,000. And a lot of people want to find Bigfoot because they think they're going to be rich. You know, the TV show I was on, the $10 million Bigfoot Bounty. If I had proven Bigfoot's real, I would have won $10 million. What's our driving force as human beings? Money. You know, Bigfoot is big business. Let's be realistic. You know, yeah, people have their own different agendas, selling books, making YouTube videos, speaking at conferences, doing TV shows. You know, so Bigfoot's money. That's the bottom dollar. So the fascination for Sasquatch with some people is money, and it's also the great mystery. When you're out there looking for Bigfoot, you need to be happy with whatever you find. You cannot go out into the woods with confirmation biasness. You're shooting yourself in the foot. That's not being scientific. So search for the answers and be happy with whatever you find. Very important. And I think people forget that.